Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are well. Just about to cough. Just as that video ended, the eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that the Declan Rice goal at Southampton has been removed from the intro. I finally got a decent one to put on there. Of course, Jared Bowen's superb goal and a very good team goal added to the intro there. I hope you are all well. Bank holiday Monday. I hope everybody has had a good day. Villa won, West Ham won. Happy days. Happy days. Mike is standing in for Sean this week. Mike, very good evening to you. How are you?
Evening, yeah, good. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be as good as Sean, mate, but I'll try my best.
You'll be much better. Don't worry. I won't get the constant lip about how Tottenham are brilliant and how West Ham are crap. So, yeah, much better. Much better. Josh is here. Josh, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all right. All right. So I hope everybody watching is well. Terry, thank you very much for joining us. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Boiled it, baked it, glazed it. The cat's expressed an interest. Have you glazed gammon? We'll come back to that a little bit later. Right, we'll kick off. Friday night football seems like an absolute age ago. Chelsea swept aside Luton Town 3-0, Mike.
Yeah, a bit expected, mate, wasn't it, to be totally honest. Let's face it, Chelsea, they had a lot of ball against us. They didn't have a lot of end product, but, I mean, Sterling, he was just far too good for their defence. I mean, he showed us a clean pair of heels enough times last week, but we managed to stop him causing too much problem once he got to the byline. His end product wasn't there that day, but give him his due. He looks like he's, revitalised totally. And he's probably playing some of the best football. I mean, it's only 2 or 3 games, but he's played in a long, long time.
Yeah.
They were just too powerful for Luton, and I feel for Luton a bit.
I won't next Friday, trust me, because if it's a difference of us going top of the league and not.
Yeah, then, it's a toughie for us next Friday. I know, going there for their first game in the Premier League, them being at home, it won't be easy, but I think they're going to struggle no matter what happens next Friday.
No, I agree. I think just with Chelsea, I mean, they could have easily beaten us. Don't get me wrong. Last week, and Sterling was the standout, and I think they just had too much there. Chelsea, they will be a good side this year. And Luton, as you said, I think they're struggling. Oh, here he is. Josh, can you believe this? Look at this. Sean, how are you? I thought I got rid of you for a while. I thought I got rid of you.
I know. Miss has taken ages to get ready. Got a spare 10 minutes, and we're off to what they call. Well, it's quite a mental pool party, to be honest. I'm too old for it, but I'm going to give it a go.
Josh, can you remember last time Sean was on holiday on here? There was plenty of drinks consumed in that 55 minutes, but yeah, so can I. And funnily enough, Josh, I'll just get your thoughts on the Luton game because we're going to come on to Spurs next. But Josh, anything to add on the Luton game?
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Luton. They held their own for most of the game. I think if they kept it 1-0 till about 20 minutes to go, Chelsea, they were always going to have the ball. And Luton were just going to sit back, but fair play to them. I thought it's going to be a long season for them this year. I thought they defended quite well most of the game. Looks like Sterling's definitely back to his best now. He's had a good start to the season, but I think it would have been quite the same if Chelsea didn't win on Friday night.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. Right, come on then, Sean. Coincidentally, your game's next. Bournemouth 0. Spurs 2. Breezed them aside.
Yeah. Can you hear me fine, can you? Just check that
you're
first.
all right.
Yeah, we got you, mate.
I got better Wi-Fi than I have at home.
Yeah, you have.
I watched that on... Don't want to blow my own trumpet. I watched it on this Caribbean beach at 7:30 in the morning on my phone, that game. But it's been similar. I know we drew a Brentford the first game, but the 3 games have always been similar in the ways where game gets to a certain stage and the teams look a bit petrified of us. Like they sort of even United in the second half and we beat them. Bournemouth coming out and had a good 10-minute spell after half time. But then what I did like about Postecoglou, he noticed that and brought some subs on quick. He brought on some experienced bodies. And then within about a minute and a half, we just had total dominance again. Based on his past history as a manager, usually obviously his system's very different. It takes a while to get teams used to it. So a slow start was expected. But now I'm almost a bit disappointed we haven't got maximum points in a way, because it's gone better than I expected, quicker than I expected. Put it that way.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're gutted that you're below the mighty West Ham. That's really, really getting on your nerves. A couple of comments. Sean live from Southend. Has Sean got a new wallpaper? Yeah, you do like your jazzy wallpaper, Sean. So I've got a feeling that's probably what it is.
Oh, no, this is Bavaro Beach in Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. It's
What's the time and what's the degrees like? What's going on?
I've come here in the middle of storm season, so 1 minute it's 35 degrees, next minute you got thunder and lightning. That goes after about half an hour, then it's back to it's hot and humid. Put it that way. Yeah, it's stunning in the Caribbean, as you can imagine.
Good stuff. Right, Sean, I'll let you go. Thank you very much indeed for popping on, mate.
Enjoy on. See you later, boys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. There we go. See, I managed to get him on for 5 minutes and he didn't slag off West Ham. That must be a record. That must be a record. Right, let's move on. I've lost track of where I am when, so you can both have a little word on this game because I've lost track. Mike, I'll go to you first. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. What I will say was there was a sarcastic cheer around the away end when full time happened, and you can imagine why.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I couldn't see that result happening either. I thought I was nailed on Arsenal win. But yeah, I was pleased to see them drop a couple of points. You know, it's still early days in the season. You know, Arsenal, yeah, they're going to be up there and they're pushing again. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, they're not unbeatable by a long, long way. You know, I think this year, I mean, the teams that are going to be in the top sort of 12 or so could beat anyone. I just think even the bottom ones pull off the odd shock now and again. But if you're up for it on the day, any team can beat anyone. And Fulham really had a damn good chance to finish this off and win it. Traore broke away. I mean, how many teams now have gone down to 10 men and look better sides?
Better, yeah.
Well, that's what won us the game against Chelsea. Don't want to go back to that again, but teams just galvanise with 10 men and they stay tight. And if they've got someone like Traore or you're like us, we got someone like Antonio or Bowen that can catch teams on the break, you can have that space. You know, so it's not such a shock that teams do well with 10 men, you know, because you condense it all and then you leave all that space. But if you've got people with pace that can break on them, and Fulham are a decent side, you know, I like the two midfielders. You know, obviously we were looking at the guy who scored the equaliser. Yeah. He's solid as a rock. He is very, very solid. And Fulham have got some decent players and play some decent football. So not a total shock, but I was expecting Arsenal to win it.
Josh, I think, you know, at the start of the season, Josh, we sort of all said that we don't expect Fulham to probably be where they were last year, and they haven't had a fantastic start, but they've shown some real character there to get themselves back level from a winning position and draw at the Emirates, which I don't think many teams will this year.
Yeah, very good performance from Fulham. I think the big difference is Palhinha coming back into the side, because I think he's been out injured for the first couple of games. You could tell they were missing him. It was quite a poor performance against Everton on the opening day. They managed to get away with and just about sneak a 1-0. I think they lost to Brentford second game, but yeah, when he's back in the team, it just makes such a difference to them. I think it's going to be difficult to keep hold of it. I think they'll keep hold of him for this window, but I think next 12 to 18 months, I think he's going to be a very difficult one to keep hold of, because he's just such a good player. I think he'll probably get in most Premier League team side, except for like some Man City teams like that. And yeah, when it's Arsenal quickly turn the game around, obviously do 1-0 down, then Fulham go down to 10 men. You think it's game over then, but now they showed really good character to get it back to 2-2, and they had another chance late to win it. So Arsenal can count themselves lucky that they didn't lose in the end. But you've got to say a very good point for Fulham there.
Yeah, Michael says 41 got pulled, did he? Well, yeah, that's what I said just a couple of minutes ago. You know, when it was getting near the end, of course, we were the R5 kickoff, so the concourse was quite busy when the full-time whistle went on the 3 o'clock games. And yeah, there was a few selective words and cheers going around when we saw Arsenal didn't pick up 3 points. I've got no idea why. I don't know the affiliation or hatred towards Arsenal. I don't know where it comes from, but but it was quite funny. James, I hope you were well. Good evening, 4.5 sugars. He's a bit silly, isn't he? You know, and he doesn't stir it either because he don't like it too sweet. If you know, you know. Let's take some of your comments. Eric, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you are well. Great results Saturday. Exciting players coming in for sure. We didn't sign Troy Horray as the baby oil bill is 10 million a year. Some of them would have looked at that and went, "Woohoo, no, thank you." Always remember in Brighton, the parking ride does not open when she says, "Yeah, if you know, you know." What a day on Saturday. We'll get on to that a little bit later on, right? Mike, we'll start with you with this one. Everton 0, Wolves 1. A bitter defeat right at the end for Everton.
Yeah, I mean, Everton they're just struggling big time. I don't know when the next win's going to come. Right, okay, they're going to duff someone up next game now. Yeah. I said that, but yeah, they just can't score goals, can they? I mean, that's a problem. Full stop. You think with Dyche's manager, you know, they're strong defensively, they're well set up. But if you can't score goals, you're just not going to win games, full stop. And Calvert-Lewin, as you know, he's normally the man that does it for him. He's always getting himself injured. I think it could be another struggle of a season for Everton. I really do. And Wolves, to be fair, I thought, I watched them against Man United, and I thought, yeah, they've got a bit about them. You know, everyone's writing them off for the players.
They aren't going to score many goals, but they are playing well.
They're another team. I mean, this wouldn't have been a shock to anyone had it have been a 0-0, had they? No. You know, I mean, they're both struggling in front of goal. And Wolves' confidence, you know, hasn't been that high. They're really unlucky against Man United. I think should have had a penalty and got something out of that game. But, hey, you know, that's what happens. You know, when you're both struggling down there, you know, and now Wolves have got a bit of a pick-me-up. Yeah. Everton are now really look like they're struggling. So it's 3 games into the season and I wouldn't write anyone off. You know, I wouldn't write Everton off just yet. I think, you know, they might have enough to sort of pull them out of it, but it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be a long season.
Yeah, I think it's a big 3 points for Wolves to get that on the board because they have played quite well so far this season. Josh, we all know there's some Everton affiliation within your family. What have they made of it? And yeah, obviously for you, slightly looking from the outside in, it's a really hard one to swallow for Everton.
Yeah, it's not good times for them. They're really struggling. You can't say they haven't been creating chances. They've created loads at both home games, Fulham and Wolves. They've had so many golden opportunities, but they just haven't got a clinical player to put the ball in the back of the net. They have got a decent striker in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he plays 1 game and then he's injured for another 6 or 7, and you can't rely on that for a full season. I still think under Dyche we're just about getting off 1-0 wins at home to keep them up, but there's got to be a point where you kick on and try and go just secure some stability again in the Premier League. I just don't think they can keep getting away for much longer, just scraping relegation every year. I think they have agreed a deal with a striker from Serie A in the last couple of days. I think he's meant to be having a medical, but that still hasn't gone through yet. So I think they'll be praying that goes through. Hopefully it should. But yeah, it's not looking too good for them. They've got Neil Maupay is the only other striker really apart from Calvert-Lewin. I know Dan Juma can play there, but he's probably best as a wide man. And Maupay, I think he's got something like 1 in 29 now or something ridiculous like that. He's just not a clinical goal scorer. Yeah. It's just they have to get a goal scoring in. It's just worrying times for them really.
Yeah, I think there's been some weak links for Danny Ings to move to Everton this week that I've seen banded around. And to be fair, you know, if I had a driving license, I'd drive him there myself. And I think it might just be what Everton need to get a striker in because Neil Maupay is poor. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fractured another eyelash, so he's out for another 2 months. So they are struggling, Everton, and as Mike said, we can't write any team off 3 games in. But as Kent says, and I think the majority of football fans would say, I think this is the generic and quite obvious answer if you're asked who's going to go down: Luton, Sheffield United, Everton. If it's all those 3, that would not surprise me at all when we're sat here on the last Sunday of the season on the 19th of May. So yeah, I think Everton will struggle, and they've not put themselves in the best position so far this season. That is for sure. Peter says, thought Josh would have a smile like a Cheshire cat after 3 good wins. We'll get on to Villa, then that smile will come out. Don't you worry about that. Ken says, Boxing Day going to be interesting at Arsenal. Everyone and their cat's mother will want a ticket to that. Sod the parties at the in-laws. There will be 3,000 relatively not angry, but it will be tasty. And if anyone thinks it'll get a good reception, then I think they're going to be quite mistaken after some of the chants yesterday or Saturday. I'm losing track of my days. Anyway, Sean's back. He can't keep away. Spurs fans loving Ange and the team. That means League Cup exit to Fulham tomorrow. Of course, you've got to go through the second round of the Carabao Cup, haven't you? We haven't. Proper clubs. We go straight through to the third round. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Wolves losing there, but isn't that Nunes going to City as well? I think that's a huge loss for Wolves. So that could be one to keep an eye on as well. Peter says Everton getting a better striker for around 30 million. Terry says, let's hope that we will be focusing on the other half of the table all season. Let's hope so. With Calvert-Lewin off the catwalk, he's back on the catwalk now because he's injured for a couple of weeks. He'll be back on that catwalk in no time. Man City pushing hard for him and went on strike today to get the move Didi Nunes for Wolves. Wow. So that deal looks like it's possibly going through. Helen said with Souček knocked out cold, and it was at least 5 minutes from him going off to our sub coming on. Just thought it was a normal substitution and not a concussion one. I think he was knocked out cold for a couple of minutes, and then they managed to bring him round, and obviously he had to go off. But yeah, it was not a good sign, that is for sure. Right. Anyway, we will move on. Next up, Brentford 1, Crystal Palace 1. This has got to be up there for one of the most forgettable games of the weekend. And Josh, you have the pleasure of talking us through it.
Yeah, well, I thought from the highlights, it looked like Crystal Palace are a much better team. They created quite a lot of chances. And Flecken, the new Brentford goalie, had to keep them in it. I think Palace have had quite a decent start to the season. To be fair, I think a lot of people after Luton was quite a decent player, didn't they? I can't even remember now, but I thought people are saying that they could be down there this season, scrapping relegation, but they've had a decent start. They won on the opening day. They give Arsenal a decent game, and a point them probably unlucky not to win. It was a very good goal from Skada, first goal for Brentford in the first half, right in the top corner, probably one of the goals of the week. And then Palace's goal, probably keeper should be doing a bit better. He did keep them in it, but yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy one. Keeper and the defender come out and slided under them from a very tight angle. That was probably Palace's hardest chance, and they scored it really because they had 2 or 3 clear-cut chances which they should have buried really. Again, not quite to Evans' level, but they are just missing that goal scorer. I think they've got Edwards, Mateta, and that's it for the strikers. They're never really going to get you more than about 6 or 7 goals a season, and I think that's why Palace, I think, again, they'll probably have more than enough to stay up, but I don't think they're ever going to break into like top half or Europe. I just think they're always going to be that typical Premier League mid-table side. They've got a very good defensive Anderson, Guahi. They definitely got more than enough to stay up, but yeah, I just don't think Palace are ever going to kick on to the next level really in the near future. As for Brentford, I think people are saying they're going to miss Tony. I think now he's still slowly showing a bit more that they are, because they're struggling for goals a bit. Well, they did batter someone last weekend, actually, didn't they? But I still think they were more than okay, and they'll get top half. But yeah, not a great performance from them at the weekend.
Yeah, I think you're right about Palace, especially under Roy Hodgson. I think without some major investment in there, I think they could be 12th, 13th again this year. They'll have enough. They got some quality there, but I can't see them pushing on very much further than that. Kent says, despite him being an ex-Millwall player, Eze is turning into one of my favourite players to watch. He's a door opener of a player, a maverick. He will be wasted by everyone soon. He's a good player. He's a good player, and he's had same as Zaha to an extent. He's had all the links away for quite a while, and it's never sort of really happened. And he's remained put at Selhurst Park. So yeah, I don't know. He is a good player. That is for sure. We'll move up to Old Trafford then. Well, Manchester United lucky in the end. 2 goals inside the first 4 minutes for the away side, but that's when the fun ended. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Mike.
Yeah, I was a bit, as soon as I seen
Always going to happen, wasn't it? Always going to happen.
I was disappointed. I've got to admit it. Forest go 2-0 up against them in the first few minutes, and they probably scored too early, to be fair.
Yeah.
Forest, that's the trouble, I mean, United fans, they could have got on, on the players' backs. They've been struggling a bit. I thought Wolves were a better team against them. Wolves cut them open so many times that they run straight through the middle of them. And what happened again? Omawamni, or whatever his name is, the striker, he gets a run straight down the middle of him. And I think it was Rashford who was the nearest one to him to try and track him. I just think United are vulnerable right through the middle of the park. And I thought that when we went up there last year and played them in the cup game, that Casemiro, I think he's lost a bit of pace. I know he's over 30 now, but he needs someone alongside him that can snap a tackle and get back in and tuck in. I mean, they had a gaping hole in the middle of their midfield. Okay, you got to say, okay, they got the quality, with the front guys, and then you got someone like Ericsson, who are quality footballers. Fernandez, much as I don't like the guy, he is a good player going forward. So I think United will score goals, but I think they're going to concede them. And the 3-2 result is, it's not a shock to me. It's not a shock. I had that down as a draw. I had that down as a 2-2 draw, and I wasn't far off it, really.
Yeah.
I admit I had us down as a 1-1 draw as well, but there you go. Joking aside, I don't think United are all that. I wouldn't be scared for West Ham to go there and take them on and beat them. Because when we beat them at home last year, in the middle of the park, we outmuscled them. Yeah, and I know that was with Rice there.
It's a shame actually, because we don't play United until just before Christmas, 2 days before Christmas.
I think they're there for the taking still. I don't think they're all that at the moment. They need another midfielder, definitely, if they want to push for the top 4. But, there's no doubt that they got strength up front. Rashford probably better off out on the left-hand side than down the middle. They put Martial up front, as a number 9, and that probably worked better for them. But defensively, not great. The little Argentinian guy's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment. He's not been at the races, so they're there for the taking still, I think.
They are just looking. So we play Man United on the 23rd of December, and then we play them again on the 3rd of February. All we need is for us to draw against them in the 3rd round of the FA Cup in January, and we'll play them in December, January and February. That's just going to happen, isn't it? Honestly, you can come back to this. I can guarantee you we will draw Man United in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, as we played them 3 times in 3 months. Honestly, that will happen. But anyway, Josh, just to finish off on this one, Man United have failed to impress so far, and I think it shows a Forest side going up there and really pushing United shows that anyone can this year.
Yeah, I don't think United have been convincing so far this season. I thought they should have lost the Wolves game. I thought Wolves by far the better team the other week. Should have had a penalty as well, certainly in the last minute. So that wasn't a convincing performance, and obviously they got outplayed by Spurs. And then I was rooting for Forest as well, I can't lie, especially after they went 2-0 up. But as soon as they went down to 10 men, it was always going to be difficult for them. But I do agree as well. I don't think Casemiro is the same player anymore. I still think he's a good player, but he could do with someone alongside him. He's definitely lost quite a bit of pace. And I don't think, obviously, he's wrong side of 30 now, I think. But I just don't think he's the same player. And I think United could need a few more bodies in on the last couple of days of the window.
No, I agree. Let's take some comments on Manchester United because a few of you are having your say on it. Let's start here. Michael says Forest scored too early. It gave Meunier time to get goals. It certainly did. Not a red card for Worrell. Bruno trips him. Didn't think it was a penalty. United, a soft penalty. I think that seems to be the general consensus in that sense. Michael says we all know refs are not biased to the big so-called six. Exactly. Yeah, the striker is doing well for Forest. He's sort of shone for them so far, and they'll want him to continue that form. Yeah, who's this Rice fella? What is a Declan Rice? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. Hammerhead says, wouldn't my Wan-Bissaka from United? No, I'd take him. I think he's very good, and I think he's actually quite underrated. Sorry, Manchester United, not United. Manchester United. September the 16th, title decider. West Ham versus Man City. You all better be ready. Whoever wins that is tipped for the title, I've heard. So there we go. Right then, let's move on. Oh, we're next. Look at that. Brighton 1, West Ham United 3. We've all talked about it for a long time. I spoke about it for an hour and 10 minutes straight last night whilst I was waiting for the Kudus deal to be announced. Mike, basically, I got ready. I thought the announcement was going to be 6 o'clock. So I came on at 5 to 6. Didn't come at 6 o'clock. So I had to keep going, didn't I? And I talked until 7 o'clock and then managed to get there. We got there in the end. Similarly, as we did at the Amex, we got there in the end. Some fantastic counter-attacking football, 21% possession, similar to Chelsea last week. And we've got 6 points out of those 2 games. And yeah, over the moon with it.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'll go back to last year. We were struggling trying to play a new brand of football with the players we brought in, the Scamacas and Paquetas and all that. And okay, great. We won the cup, which was great for all us fans. But then the league form, dropped off, and we went back to Moyes ball. I think it was a Fulham game. We housed a win at Fulham, and it worked. Sorry for swearing there. And we've stuck with that in the league ever since. We picked up enough points. I think he only knows one way to play, and that's it. And against a team like Brighton, who have ripped us to pieces the last time we went down there, and we haven't beaten them in 12 attempts, of which I've watched a few of them. And to be totally honest, the game plan worked. We sat in there, we allowed them onto us. What did it do? It gave us that space, and they had a weakness at the back. They had a weakness down the right hand side, and we exploited it. And I just think the plan totally and utterly worked. Some great finishes. Obviously, I thought Bowen's run and touch, was phenomenal. If Ronaldo had done that, everyone would be wax lyrical about it. Antonio's goal, excellent. And Ward-Prowse, honestly, that guy, I knew he was going to be a good signing, but I didn't think he's going to be this good. He works his socks off. The run he made for that first goal. Antonio, okay, he caused the problems all day. Every time he got a chance, he caused them a problem. But he ran. He played that ball into Antonio, and he kept running, and he deserved that goal. At the moment, I know we can't carry on doing that every single game because we're going to come up against teams like Luton where, we're going to have a different game plan. But game plan worked. We got the 3 points, and I'm just over the moon that we've actually managed to break the hoodoo.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Right then, Josh, you've got 2 options here. You can either criticise the style of football, like somebody else on this show usually does, or you can give credit to West Ham. What's it going to be?
No, I'm definitely going to give credit to West Ham. Yeah, just unbelievable. Really. It's mad. I have Palace possession, but the counter-attacking football was just brilliant. Really, just clinical. Antonio was just such a handful up front. Like his strength, Adam Webster, he just couldn't live with him. He absolutely had him on toast. And yeah, it's just clinical West Ham. It's a bit like what Everton did to Brighton last season, where they let them have all the balls, sit back, and just hit them on the counter, and they end up getting battered because Brighton try and walk it in. Then West Ham were just clinical. Bowen's brilliant again. Ward Prowse just, yeah. Again, I thought he was going to be a decent signing, but just ridiculous. It's just, like, I know always the set pieces are going to be good. You know what you're getting with that, but it seems like his all-round games have improved. So just he's one of them tireless midfielders, just never stops running. So yeah, that's just outplayed really Brighton there. But it's a bit like Everton's performance last season, but yeah, very good win for West Ham. Not top of the league though anymore, I don't think, as a City, but yeah.
We'll be back there 10 o'clock Friday night. Don't you worry about that, Josh. I called you Sean then. What is going on here? Josh, most definitely Josh. Yeah, very good. Let's take some of your comments. I like this from Kent, a very good summary. Devastating counter-punching knockout of Brighton by quick, decisive West Ham, the counter-attacking side. And I tell you what, once again, it worked to perfection. And there seemed to be a shift. There's a feel-good factor back around the place. After the win and after, there was a bit of disappointment after the Bournemouth game. There was, ecstasy last week when we beat Chelsea, just because it's Chelsea in the manner of how we won it. And that was just absolutely brilliant down at Brighton. The first goal, everyone was like not getting carried away. The second goal went in, the party started. The third goal went in, and nobody could believe what on earth was going on, to be honest with you. Just a couple of things, for the first time in what I can remember as a long time is Super David Moyes was sang. As he walked over at the end, he walked over and he put his thumb up and went like that and went with top of the league. And Super David Moyes was sang. I stood back and went, wow, I haven't heard that for a while. He's united this fan base again. And what I think the comparison should be made here is last time we went down to Brighton, you couldn't sort of get yourselves. We played them in March. What's that? April, May, June, July, August. 5 months ago, and the club and the team is in two polar opposite situations. That's the worst game I've ever seen down at Brighton in March, and that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. The way we wanted to play and the way we executed it was just perfection. And that Bowen goal, I tell you what. If Saka or Martinelli did that, then it's talked about for weeks. From Antonio to Benrahma, straight over, the touch and finish by Bowen was just top class. And the same with Antonio, very, very good goal. And Brighton didn't have a plan B. And I think for the first time in a while, Brighton looked quite rattled, actually. And not many teams do that to Brighton. They're very controlled. Of course, they had all the possession, but they didn't do anything with it. According to the Premier League, we had 4 more big chances, whatever the hell a big chance is. They had the more possession, but we dominated in the final third, and that shows by the scoreline. They didn't have a plan B. We carried on, a little bit nervy towards the end, but in the end, we never make it easier for ourselves, and we managed to get it done. Absolutely delighted. What's the record, says P. Gads, for winning with the least possession? I'm not sure, but we registered the least amount of passes in any Premier League game ever in the first half. I think it was about 31. Moyes ball is in full swing. Peter says much better window than last year, as all the signings won't need to take their time to settle. I agree. Terry says Alvarez was superb on Saturday, always on the move, scanning for trouble, hassling the forwards, a proper holding defensive midfielder. Very impressed. £10 in the swear jar, Mike. It's just
yeah.
Ken says Everton played the same way with Brighton last year, and they smashed them 4-1. We beat them 3-1. Maybe that's the way to play against Brighton. Maybe it is. Michael says we outplayed Brighton all over the pitch. Goals win prizes, not possession. A complete team effort. I 100% agree. James Ward-Prowse is amazing for us. Can't believe so many people didn't have faith in him. Yeah, I was one of them. I will admit it. I wasn't a huge fan of the signing, and he's proving me wrong as things stand. Nick, hope you well, mate. It's so good to relive this beautiful game. Moyes ball won't work every time, but in the Cockney, Stokes and McCullum, I trust. I like that analogy. I like it. Ken says, I didn't sing Super David Moyes. I'm going to keep my counsel until after 10 to 15 games. And if we're doing the same, I will eat humble pie. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right, there we go. We will move on. And come on, Josh, let's see your smile. Burnley 1, Aston Villa 3.
Yeah, just very good performance. It was right for a minute, up to 2-0 within 10 minutes, and again, Unai got it spot on. He knows that Burnley like to have the ball. They're a possession team, so let them have most of the ball. And when we got it, a bit like West Ham, but not quite. We didn't have 21% possession. I think it was a bit more than that, but similar to that. And we just, when we had it, we were just so clinical on the break. Matty Cash playing as basically a winger, with Ponders dropping to right back, and we got 2 goals, 2 in 20 minutes, and just clinical. It could have been more, though, to be fair. Ollie Watkins missed 2 golden opportunities again. But no, the football we played and we had it's just football that I've never seen us play before. Just the quick 1-2s, the passing, just the chemistry between the side. Like, it's just unbelievable what he's done, really. But we just never really looked troubled, apart from a 15-minute spell at the start of the second half where Burnley got back in the game. But then we still had another counter attack, and DRB finished it, so we got back in control of the game. And from then, we were just in control. As I say, it was only that 15-minute period where we looked like the game was in doubt. Every other time, it looked like Villa were always going to win, and we were in control. Moussa Diaby looks a really good player. He's just got flair, pace. Looks really good. Watkins still needs to improve on his finishing, his first touch, but you can see his all-round game is getting better. His hold-up play as well. Matty Cash much improved after the shocker of the game he had at Newcastle. Diego Carlo as well coming in at centre-back. He looked rock solid. He'd been out for about 9 months of injury. So to come back in and play that well, I think is really impressive. And it's been a good week for us. 3 wins in a row now, but Liverpool away next week is going to be tough. So we'll see how we get on then. But very convincing performance and another win on the road. So it's always nice.
Yeah, a good week for Villa. I mean, you've directly sacked the Hibernian manager after that devastating win midweek in the best European competition that exists, and then beating Burnley. Have you been a little bit underwhelmed? Obviously, they've only played 2 games because they were supposed to play Luton, Mike. But do you think all the talk about Burnley, they've been slightly underwhelming? I know they've played City and a good Villa side, but are you expecting a little bit more, maybe?
Yeah, out of the 3 teams that come up, I think they're the team that might do the best. I think they may pick up more points than the other 2. Play decent football, Josh said. They're going to and with company as the boss.
Yeah.
They've done well to bounce back and come back. I think they've got a bit about them, definitely. I've watched them a bit because I'm still interested to see what Cullen's doing, and he's doing okay. But to be honest, he wouldn't get in our team at the moment, would he? So, West Ham probably did the right thing. They're playing some decent football, but I think at the back they're going to get ripped open a few times. And Villa's game plan was spot on, and I think Villa are going to do well this year. I really do. Emery's really settled. He's done well, hasn't he? He's got that team together, and Cash playing as a right winger, really. He's normally a right back. Great game I thought he had. I thought he was superb. One of the finishes was absolutely top quality. Striker had been proud of it. So Villa looking good. I don't think they're going to have any problems this year.
No, I agree. I think they're just gonna be solid and keep going. Maybe a little bit under the radar, and obviously you'd like to think the banana skin of Hibernian have now been swiftly put to the side, managerless going into their game at Villa Park midweek. But Villa good, Burnley not so good at the start of this season. Right, next up, 2 games left. We'll fire through these relatively quickly. Sheffield United 1, Manchester City 2. Josh, I'll come to you. A little scare for Manchester City before Rodri ended that.
Yeah. I did actually watch this one as the Villa one went on the telly because we played in Europe in the week. I felt really sorry for Sheffield United, and I really wanted to get something. I thought they defended superbly the whole game. City just couldn't break them down. Obviously, Haaland missed a penalty in the first half. He was the captain in the fantasy team, but he did make up for it in the second half, obviously. But no, Sheffield United they really, really defended well, and when they had it on the counter, they didn't look too bad either. And obviously, they took the chance when they did get it. A very good finish from Bogle, but then just a lapse in concentration a couple of minutes later, and obviously they lose the game. I'm not quite sure what Kyle Walker was doing for that goal. he tried to back. He won the ball with ease, and then just a bit of composure. Well, probably too much composure, but even if you just whack it out in the stands. But no, I don't know what he was trying to do with that back heel. I don't know who he thought was behind him. But yeah, and then Sheffield United probably deservedly got back on level terms, and then yeah, it was just I was frustrated, to be honest, when Rodri scored that goal, because I wanted them to get something, because they deserved it. They really played quite well, and I do think it's going to be a long season for them. Now, obviously, we've just sold Cameron Archer to them for 20 million, one of our young strikers, but I don't think it's a great move for them, because it's not going to get many chances in that team, and especially when you're probably going to be getting battered away from home against big sides, it's going to be a bit isolated. But I think, I'm not sure, I think it could be a long old season for them, but really unlucky the other day.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Well, just before we go on to the last game, this is this is the game that did push us down to second. And I mean, I get, we sort of understand how Arsenal fans feel now, Mike, because we're sat disappointed being second in the table. So we've had a bit of that now that Arsenal have had. So disappointing. To be fair, I actually wanted Man City just to win 1-0, because it would have done a lot more to my fantasy league. I had an absolute nightmare this week. I triple captained Haaland, and then he missed a penalty, so I didn't get -1 point, so I got -3 points. He managed to get it back with a goal. But yeah, I had a defender as well, so I had a bit of a Western super this week. But yeah, anyway, the last game, Mike, I'll come to you. Lucky Liverpool beating Newcastle right at the end. Now, this is a tough one to take for the Geordies.
Yeah, I mean, they had chances. Newcastle, they go 1-0 up. Liverpool go down to 10 men. Arguably should have went down to 9 men. I think Trent should have went even more than, I mean, he would have been a bit unlucky. Let's get it right, because he was pushed in the back off the pitch, and he gets his first yellow for throwing the ball back onto the pitch. But the guy was coming to pick the ball up. The new rule is you can't throw the ball away. Yeah. They all know that is a yellow card, full stop. The second one's a definite yellow. I don't know what the referee's got in his head. Not giving another yellow there. It's just, there's been some hideous decisions already this year. I don't want to be talking about them really, but really Liverpool should have been down to 9 men, and there's no way they're getting back into that game. I think, was it Elmarin hit the post, and then went 2-0 up. If that had went in, Liverpool weren't coming back from that.
Yeah.
But take nothing away from Núñez. That's 2 absolutely brilliant strikes.
Potentially what he needs as well.
Yeah, he came on, and his first touch he had another chance to break on him, and his first touch knocked the ball back. Next time it came through him, it was a bit of a blunder from the defender, mine. I think it was Botman, was it? He made a bit of a meal of it and lost the ball, and he ran through. He still had a bit to do, and fair dues to him. He stuffed it in the corner. It was a great finish, bit like Antonio's finish.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Burn got caught on his heels a bit for the other one, and that is Newcastle's problem. I think they've got some good players going forward, but defensively, I don't think they are all that. Even though their defensive record looks good, I think they've been getting away with it a little bit, and that might be their Achilles heel a little bit. I felt sorry for them, I really did. I was hoping for a 1-1 draw. That'd been good. They both drop points in, don't they? But the last thing I want to see is those shiny teeth and all that air punching at the end. I can't stand it, man. But there we go. Move on.
There we go. Nice little dig there at the end. I like it. Right, let's take some real comments before we wrap things up. How many points from our next 4 games? So we've got 4 games in September. Luton, Man City, Liverpool, Sheffield United. We'll win all 4 easy. Man City, Liverpool will beat them too. Of course, Sheffield United, Luton should be beating those. Realistically, should be beating Luton, should be beating Sheffield United. Maybe a point in those other 2 games. So probably saying 6 or 7 points from those 4 games would be a decent return. A point at Anfield, I think we can get for me. But let's take some real comments. Kent says should have been 9 men for Liverpool. Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch said that the ref should have sent Trent off. Newcastle should have been 3-0 up before Liverpool got back into the game, but poor subs by Eddie Howe that cost Newcastle. Yeah, I agree. Michael says always play well against the big boys, struggle with the poor teams. Newcastle have got Brighton away next. Well, if Brighton play like they did against us, then Newcastle, it will be easy pickings for them. But that is the 10 games done this weekend. Just before we do wrap things up, 40 people watching, hit that like button and subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you haven't already. And if you haven't already as well, only a couple of days left of voting for the Football Content Awards. So all you need to do is click the link that is in the top line of the description. It will bring you to this page. All you've got to do is scroll down to Best Young Content Creator, type in West Ham Unofficial, scroll to the bottom, agree your terms and conditions, and press vote now. And that will mean a lot to us here at West Ham Unofficial. And Mike and Josh, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Oh, thank you, mate. Enjoyed it as always.
I hope you, I hope all of you have enjoyed it at home. Last couple of comments before we do go. Michael says, have we had all of our Sky Sports TV used to up until 3 games on a spin? Yeah, I think they've done up until October, and they'll do November next, and then they'll go into December, because again, it's as always a congested festive period. We play on the 23rd, the 26th, and the 30th, which is Man United, Arsenal, and Brighton. But don't say we can't beat Brighton now, because we've flipping done it, haven't we? Get in there. Get in there. Doc, thanks for joining us. What's up, guys? Nice to see another Premier League run. Actually, this is going to be a good episode. Thank you very much for joining us as we came in right at the end, but thank you very much for that. Everybody in the chat, thanks for watching. And from me and Mike, come on, you Lions, up the Villa from Josh. And we will see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Cheers. Cheers.